Coming up on Mountain News at 6, students at one Laurel County elementary school learn about gun safety. Plus, multiple organizations gather in one Knott County town for a rally aimed at supporting those battling addiction.
And we are tracking warm and dry weather for the weekend. Your full forecast on the way as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Children at a Southern Kentucky elementary school were taught about gun safety today. It's part of the Eddie Eagle Gun Safe program. The demonstration and lesson was given in Laurel County, where 2 children have died in gun incidents since July. Another child died in Corbin just a few weeks ago. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to police and healthcare leaders about the program.
A simple message often sung, a directive aimed at young children. It's stop, don't touch, run away, and tell a grown-up.
This message is so important because I truly believe that it can save lives, and specifically the lives of children in our community.
St. Joseph London started the program in Knox County. It's expanded into all Laurel County schools. It actually started in 1988 by a group of multiple people, including the National Rifle Association. Leaders say that it's simply to tell kids when there's a gun around, they need to go the other way and get help.
Well, statistically, these are the kids that are getting killed at home. So these are the kids that we focus on and we try to reach.
And this comes as there's been 3 kids in this part of Kentucky that have died the result of gunshot wounds just in the past year. 2 toddlers and a 12-year-old all dead because a gun was found somewhere and then that gun was fired. 2 of those deaths were in Laurel County. 1 was in Whitley County. 2 of the victims were just 2 years old.
Yes, we have had fatalities in this area, and we hope that this will reduce that number and hopefully end that number of child fatalities.
I think it's wonderful. You know, each year we read in the newspapers and see on TV of children that have been accidentally killed from guns in the home.
In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The Eddie Eagle venture comes through the Nurturing Children program funded by Common Spirit Health Mission and Ministry Fund. The Laurel County Sheriff's and London Police Chief have announced a 13-year-old boy is charged with murder in the death of a 12-year-old Laurel County boy in July. Authorities say the 12-year-old was shot on July 25th. The incident happened at a home about 3 miles south of London. Police say the 12-year-old died a short time later at a hospital. The 13-year-old has been detained in a juvenile detention facility. We now know the name of the suspect involved in a deadly shooting in Letcher County. Kentucky State Police is looking for 39-year-old Lawrence Eugene Holcomb. He is reportedly 5'9" and weighs 185 pounds. He has dark hair and brown eyes. Officials say Holcomb is wanted for murder and fetal homicide and should be considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you were asked to contact state police. A Pike County man is facing serious charges for his role in a child sexual abuse material case. 46-year-old Gary Hampton was taken into custody at his home in Virgie yesterday following an undercover investigation by the ICAC branch of state police. Hampton faces multiple charges related to child sex. The possession charges are felony counts and could send Hampton to prison for up to 10 years if convicted. One person is in critical condition after a crash in Knox County. First responders were called out to the crash yesterday afternoon on Highway 3439. Arthur Vaughn was driving a truck going south when it lost control, striking a car coming from the other direction. A woman whose identity has not been released was taken to UK Hospital and remains there in critical condition. Vaughn was taken to Barberville ARH and, due to being treated for his injuries, was cited to court. One Floyd County Police Department is mourning the loss of one of its officers. On social media, officials with Prestonsburg PD announced the death of K9 Davis yesterday. Davis was the last surviving canine in retirement from the department. He had lived out his last years with former handler Captain Nick Bingham, his wife, and their children at their home. The canine is remembered as the, quote, bestest big boy who began a tradition of excellence in our canine program.
We are tracking some fantastic weather across the mountains as we close out your work week. Here's a live look right now from the London Corbin Airport and looking at plenty of blue sky back in the distance. We are mild though. That current temperature at the airport at 80 degrees. Most of us in the upper 70s and lower 80s. 81 for Manchester, also Somerset, 82 in Irvine, 78 for Jackson, 75 over in Pikeville at this hour. So we are mild across the region right now, but we are dry, and that dry weather also going to continue as we go into tonight and for much of the weekend and next week as a stretch of dry, also mild weather is on the way. Again, those temperatures go back above average. We should be in the middle 70s. We top out in the middle 80s on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, but we are tracking some changes by this time next week, by Friday, also into next weekend, possibly some cooler air and more soggy weather on the way as we close out next week. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Olivia?
Cameron, thank you. Corbin officials are gearing up for the SOAR Summit and more as they expect to see an increase in tourism to the area. WYMT's RJ Johnson has more.
October is the start of a busy season for the city of Corbin. Corbin Tourism Convention and Commission Executive Director Maggie Mulholland says they're preparing for the SOAR Summit and their Dessert Week.
We've been working with our businesses in the city as we anticipate additional people in our restaurants and our shops.
She says they are working to keep track of everything going on in the city.
And, you know, the Tourism Commission, we take good pride in working with our partners throughout the city, you know, to really make sure that we are staying on top of things and coordinating and you know, ensuring a smooth process.
Mulholland says they are expecting more than 1,000 people to attend the summit, so she expects to see a lot of tourism in the upcoming days.
It takes a lot to prepare for the arrival, you know, not only of guests coming into the community from all over, you know, the United States, but also for our dignitaries. You know, this is an opportunity for Corbin to show off.
She says this is their opportunity to show what Corbin has to offer.
And of course, our hotels. So we've worked diligently with our hotel staff to ensure that we are giving the most hospitable experience possible.
In Corbin, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
The SOAR Summit will be on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Dessert Week is all week long. For more information, you can visit our website at WYMT.com. Soon there will be some new first responders on the streets in eastern Kentucky. 19 people graduated from the inaugural PMC Eastern Kentucky Rural EMS Training Program. During the program, the group was trained in basic life support, AED usage, airway management, and essential life training techniques. The program was launched last December to help those who wanted to help others get their education for free, thanks to a grant from SAM-SHA. Former governor candidate and current Commissioner of Agriculture Ryan Quarles has a new title. Quarles has been named the new president of the Kentucky Community and Technical College System. Quarles is the system's 4th president. He is taking over as the school system's previous president resigned back in February. In part of a news release, Quarles said he is both humbled and excited to further his public service toward Kentucky through the school system. Resources for those battling addiction have increased recently with the growth of helping organizations. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us about a strategy organizations have seen success with in helping folks recover.
Members of addiction recovery communities strive to lend a helping hand to one another.
Just that camaraderie between agencies and clients and community partners to get them to talk and tell their stories.
With a close group, organizations work to push aside any stigma.
There are so many people that you don't even know that is some type of an addiction to a narcotic or alcohol, whatever it is. And you talk to people every day, you don't know it.
One way they do that is giving the microphone to anyone who wants to share their story.
When I was in treatment, I used to watch powerful speakers come in, and that's what gave me hope. And I seen that if they could do it, it was possible for me as well.
Not only could it be an inspiration, but a reminder for the speaker of how much they have battled through.
Sometimes in recovery you tend to forget, and when you give your testimony, you kind of remember how far you have come in recovery.
Through the power of speaking up, those speakers can relate to those in the crowd still working to overcome.
I remember being one of the people in these communities. I came from a small town, so I was like, I get real humbled by it.
Fighting struggles as a family. In Hindman, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The recovery rally was Mountain Comprehensive Care's second such event. Many other agencies were there with resources as well.
Well, we are dry in the short term, but tracking possibly some cooler weather by this time next week. All those details on the way. Plus,
Pike County officials gathered in the Flatwoods area to celebrate the opening of a new trail all about adventure.